Go Blue, everyone. The staff is finalized. Michigan coaching staff. Let's grade it. Lots of recruiting news, and we continue our way too early position series. It's all coming up next on Michigan Wolverines
You
Live.
guys should check out the Michigan Wolverine Live. They're out here doing great things, doing great podcasts, great live shows. They're really just doing their thing, help them blow up.
And we are back for another episode of Michigan Wolverines Live, episode 188. My name's John D'Adamo, and I'm going to be your host here. We are coming to you live from YouTube, from Twitch, from X, and you can catch us on your favorite audio platform, whether it's Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeart. We're on all of them, folks. And if you do listen on audio, go ahead and leave a rating, a review, and make it 5 stars. And if it's not 5 stars, let's talk and let's see how we can make it 5 stars for our podcasts. Let's roll this. So like, subscribe, share with a friend as you join us. Hit that like button. Just takes a second. Subscribe to Michigan at the Voice of College Football as we come at you with more and more new and exclusive content on a day-to-day basis, no off season. And go ahead and share this YouTube link out with at least one friend. All right. And with that said, super chat. We already have a super chat, so thank you very much. We're going to get to that in a little bit here. But go ahead and send us a super chat if you want your comment or question read on screen as we talk through the coaching staff, as we talk through some of these things. And as with each and every Tuesday, we got TJ in the house. How you doing? Go Blue.
Hey, what up, man? Doing good. We are getting closer to spring ball, which I cannot wait. February is almost over with. It's about to be March. We got spring upon us. And listen, man, I know that was not a good game between Michigan and Nebraska the other night, but all that matters is the victory at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or you win by a mile. Plato said it best, right? Did he not? So we're gonna keep moving forward. We're gonna beat Michigan State in the last game of the year. We're gonna win the Big Ten because Michigan State's gonna stumble along the way. And it's great to be a Michigan Wolverine, John.
It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. And it's not
Tell 'em.
just us here. We've got a bunch of people here joining us. We got Marmar, who's one of our mods. He's saying smash. We got Hail to the Blue, G Boulder. So many members that are here. Bleeding Blue, Jason. StreamYard changed the countdown music on me. I was like, what the hell is this?
I was gonna say, when did that change? Because
that wasn't me.
That was the first time I've heard it.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second. G is reminding us to hit that like button. So thank you all for coming on here. We do have a new member, so thank you to Wolverine in Ohio for becoming a Those Who Stay Will Be Champions member. Really appreciate that. I hope you enjoy your emojis, your access to 2 special member streams every single month. That's what you get for being a Those Who Stay Will Be Champions member.
Absolutely. And to my guy who said he'll be at the spring game, we will see you there, my friend. We will update you guys once we get closer. We can figure out our plans in terms of where we'll be and all of that. So we will keep you guys updated. Stay tuned as it gets closer.
Yes, sir. So there we go. Spring game roll call. Yes, we'll be there. The Avengers will be there. And from what I hear, quite a few members of the community have said they're going to be there too.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I got people asking me, what's the plans for Friday night? What's Saturday? What are we doing for tailgating? I'm like, we will let you know. We will be there Friday. We will be there Saturday. We'll be there Saturday night. We got to make it through Saturday to get to Saturday night, but we'll figure it out. We'll be there. So we'll keep you guys updated on all that.
Absolutely. It looks like we have a first-time chatter here, Cameron Warren. So thank you for joining the chat, and welcome to Michigan at the Voice of College Football, at least in the chat. We do have people who just watch the show. They don't go and chat at all. That's cool, too. Hit the like button if you can.
Absolutely.
All right. But we do have a super chat, but we do want to thank, of course, the Win Agency because they are sponsoring our March Madness Bracket Challenge that's going to be coming very soon. And any day now, we should be getting access to the ESPN bracket situation. So I'll be investigating that in just a little bit here. But let's go ahead and play the Win Agency telling us a little bit about the Bracket Challenge.
Hey, Michigan fans. It may be the off season for football, but that doesn't mean we can't have a great time rallying around our amazing Michigan basketball team. In order to add even more madness to March, we at the Win Agency are issuing a $1,000 March Madness Bracket Challenge. This is only available to members. Whoever has the best bracket when the tournament is over will win $1,000 from the Win Agency. We're also filling out our own bracket, so you'll have to beat us if you want to win the grand prize. Good luck to all the Voice of College Football fans, and go Blue!
May the best man or woman win. I'm coming for that top spot, boys. Hey, do your research. Start preparing, because I'm playing for keeps. I'm just letting y'all know that right now.
Absolutely.
We will be giving updates on every show, Tuesday, Thursday, throughout March, and obviously through April. And Bleeding Blue says he's coming for the crown. Bring it, because I am coming for that dub. And we will. And I will tell you right now, whoever wins this has bragging rights for the year. And there will be shit talking, and you will have whoever does win it has all access, green light to talk all the shit in the world because you get the dub. And but you better believe, don't let me win. I mean, we might bring it up. We might have to bring it up every show. I might have to get like a little trophy made or something. We'll figure it out.
Well,
Maybe we'll get a belt, John. We'll get a belt made.
Hey, that would be something. Well, hey, you got bragging rights, but you know what's better? All that cashish for $1,000.
I might just get a stack of it. I might just have $1,000 just sitting here every show. That's my trophy. Just let everybody look at it.
Hell yeah.
Although then again, it doesn't gain any interest. My financial advisor wouldn't be happy with that. He'd rather be in a money market, I'm sure.
And Win Agency, we do appreciate you sponsoring this exciting contest. And so, yes, I do see that ESPN has opened it up to at least start to create the tournament. So we're gonna work on that here in the next 24 hours, and we'll update you guys as we go. But remember that, when you enter, you've got to be a member. Those who stay and higher, and when you cash out, if you're first place, the winner needs to be a current member as well.
Correct.
There we go. And of course, we've got GT here with the 5. Who is giving the Matt Patricia hire an A grade for Michigan. I agree. Excellent slam dunk hire that the Buckeyes just made. Yeah,
I mean, look, it still blows my mind that it happened, John. I as a Lions fan, I cannot believe that is who we will be going up against. Man, Ohio State's in for a bad time. That's just all I have to say about that. And we're going to enjoy every minute of that.
Absolutely. Well, and with that said, GT, perfect super chat to start to talk about our main topic, which is the Michigan staff being finalized. So they're recently a graphic was rolled out. In fact, just yesterday with Biff Poggi, which of course we reported on this program maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago that this was happening, but it is official now, official, according to the Michigan Twitter. Biff Poggi, associate head coach. Look at that graphic. Love it. Really captures, I think, the essence of Biff and what he's going to bring to the table. But that he leads a litany of assistants. And what I'm excited about here, TJ, and we already know most of the main coaches because we've been talking about them for close to a year. Chip Lindsey a little less, but we haven't talked as much about some of these assistant names, right? And so a couple that I want to point out, obviously Eric Soup Campbell we've discussed, but who we haven't really discussed much is Juan Castillo, who came over from UCLA, who was the O-line coach at UCLA, is now the senior assistant offensive line coach. And if you notice, almost every position group has gotten an assistant to really shore them up. Jack Clark, And this is, of course, taking advantage of some of the new rules with analysts where they are able to do some on-field coaching, whereas before that was a lot more limited. It's great to see Fred Jackson, always great to see Fred Jackson here helping coach running backs. He's done it multiple times in the past. Do any of these names kind of, before we get into grades and all that stuff, I mean, are there any of these names that stick out to you that you wanted to just talk about that you're excited about?
Yeah, I mean, the big ones are obviously the Biff Poggi, the Juan Castillo, which is, I mean, I do think that's, we didn't, so when it happened, we didn't really hit on it a lot because it kind of was in a gap between our shows.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, he has NFL offensive line coaching experience, coaching with the Baltimore Ravens, coaching with the Chicago Bears, being a part of the Washington Commanders offensive line, like running game coordinator and all that. So, he's just, and he was even the offensive line coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's been there, seen that, understands how to teach the game at the highest level, and can sit and so if we're looking at this from a 30-foot view, you can see, and to your point, John, you can see that Sharon is trying to shore up areas where there could be a bit of experience lacking in some of these rooms, right? That's why you add a Soup Campbell, so Ron Bellamy gets that extra experience in that room. You add a Juan Castillo because you want Grant Newsome to get that extra experience in the room. It's just, again, Sharon Moore checking his boxes and making sure this staff is sound, and we don't have the issues we ran into in year one where he had a limited offseason, had a put a staff together, here and there. No, now, going into next year, it appears the staff is in a good position. There is 2 positions on the staff, John, where I am still of question, but I'm very happy with the staff. And you can see the trajectory of the team, the way it developed and grew last year. Then look at recruiting. We're going to get into recruiting. There's a lot of good news with that as well. I mean, the boys are recruiting, bro. The boys are recruiting. So yeah, I mean, I'm very happy with the staff, and I'm happy to see Sharon look at areas that I wouldn't say are concerns, but areas where there's still questions, and shoring up those areas and answering questions.
Absolutely. And so when we look at the sides of the ball, starting with offense, and how Sharon did kind of putting together his offensive staff. Obviously, the big change, the big flashy change was obviously Kurt Campbell being fired, and he has now found a new position at the Los Angeles Chargers under Jim Harbaugh as special offensive assistant. So good for him. He landed on his feet in a job. He got a job, and with Harbaugh, they're hanging out in Los Angeles. But Chip Lindsey is now the offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, and I think that takes the entire room up, maybe even an entire letter grade, in my opinion, versus what I would have said at the end of last year with Kurt, before the news about Kurt Campbell. I just think Chip Lindsey knows what he's doing, and Kurt Campbell didn't, and it's really that simple. And so when you put Chip together with Tony Alford, who I think we can agree did a pretty solid job of running backs coach, there were a couple moments where I felt he could have been, maybe in terms of rotating these guys out, maybe a little too much Donovan Edwards for my liking, just running straight up the middle versus utilizing him more creatively. But I liked him, and I liked Steve Kasula. The two that I think you're thinking of, TJ, are the same that I'm thinking of, which brings this down from an A to somewhere in the B minus range, in my opinion. And that's Ron Bellamy and Grant Newsome. And both of those coaches now have some assistants that have a lot of experience, including obviously Soup Campbell, the big one, but also Juan Castillo, both having significant experience at their position groups. And maybe that sets up a situation, TJ, and then I'll let you go. But maybe that sets up a situation where Bellamy and Kasula, or Bellamy and Newsome, are like, okay, this is a prove it year, or there's some people who might be taking the job if they don't perform.
Yeah, so we're not in sync on the 2 coaches. We're 50 on it. So we agree on Ron Bellamy. That's where we agree. I'm actually okay with Grant Newsome because
Okay.
I believe in his trajectory as a coach and what is said about him in terms of a fast riser and very, easy to connect with players and things like that. So, we'll see how, I think Grant Newsome was a casualty of a lack of talent at certain positions, like right tackle last year. So we're going to find out, right? We're going to find out if the offensive line takes a step up next season. The other assistant coach who I have my concerns about is JB Brown, who is
Okay. I was going offense only, specialty. Yeah,
shoot, you're right. Okay, so offense.
But...
my bad. So I'm jumping ahead. Forgive me. All right,
That's
offense
fair.
only.
That's a fair
One offense only. It's just Ron Bellamy for me.
Okay.
But look, hey, if Ron Bellamy pulls a potential class projection of wide receivers, which we will talk about in the recruiting update, and this offense performs at a higher level with a Chip Lindsey and a Bryce Underwood, Mikey Keene at quarterback, well, then it's a big year for him. It's a big year for Ron Bellamy, and maybe he can prove the haters wrong, like Ward Manuel's proving a lot of haters wrong right now. So, it's a big year there, and that is the area where I have my biggest concern. But again, they added a assistant coach who has 6 straight years of 1,000-yard production wide receiver, 3 All-Americans, drafted first-round wide receivers, and Soup Campbell. So I mean, yeah. So my grade, John, is for offense, I'm at a B+.
Okay.
I'm at a B+.
Okay. And I'm going to go for a solid B.
Okay.
So I don't think we're far off. I mean, look, if you had asked me what I thought the offense grade was under Kirk Campbell, it would have been in the closer in the C minus, maybe even D+ range, because of the statistics, that it was one of the worst passing offenses in the country. Passing isn't everything, but only above the service academies.
Probably D+ really, or D. I mean,
I think a significant increase, and the significant increase comes from Chip Lindsey, but it also comes from some of these assistants that have been added in that I think are going to add a significant, and it comes down to day-to-day practice. TJ, it comes down to what drills are they running, right? And some of these, like Soup Campbell, is going to know some drills that worked really well to help mold somebody like a Braylon Edwards, right? And that's extremely valuable to have on the table.
Yeah, I mean, he'll know how to, do technical drills, build up their skill sets, build up their level, maybe teach them things regarding film that they're not aware of, or, there's coaching matters. At the end, Dusty may have, I don't know how often, I'm sure there's some viewers here who can relate, or maybe they ask themselves the same question, but I'm asked from friends, how much does coaching really matter, regardless of sport? Look, man, look at the Detroit Pistons with JB Bickerstaff. Look at the Detroit Red Wings with Todd McElwain. Look at what Dusty May has done with the Michigan basketball team. Coaching is so critical, and it goes for position coaches as well. When you have, how did the offensive line improve under Sharon Moore? Right? The coaching is so critical to a player's development. Now, some players have so much skill, it doesn't matter. You can have a coach who isn't the best tactician, and still have an elite player because they are just elite. But typically, you need a coach who's going to develop these guys, build these guys, and be able to teach them how to read what they are seeing on the field. That's another area that's severely underlooked. And a guy like Soup Campbell with all the years of experience, he should be able to provide that for these guys.
For sure. And the reason I put Grant Newsome in now, by the way, I'm not at all saying Bellamy and Newsome are in the same category as questionable. Everybody knows how I feel about Bellamy being in a league of his own. But my issues with Newsome were player evaluation, and looking at a player like Evan Link earlier in the season and deciding that he was their best option, when he was letting people in left and right, early in the season. Players like Judice, right? Judice, who like that. Those types of players made me really question the personnel evaluations going on. And we know that practice can be a lot different than game. And so maybe in practice, they were absolutely destroying it. It's very possible. But once you start seeing how they're doing in real games, gotta make some shifts sometimes.
Yeah. And, again, but as, I agree. We agree. But, like, Sharon Moore is going to need this year is going to be a big year for that. But, we're going to, you're like, well, player evaluations. Well, we got to remember Harbaugh had a bit of a strict approach. As we can see with Sharon, it's a bit, let's just say the level of prospect is higher. So that should give this coaching staff a better quality clay, right? A better quality of clay that they can mold and build these players into elite players.
Just going to ask everybody in chat to be good to each other. Let's treat each other with respect, whether you're a Wolverine or a Buckeye. Thanks so much. We do have a couple real quick. We'll get to defense here in a second, but we thank you to Russell Harris for the 2. Really appreciate that. And also Wolverine in Ohio. We're going to get to the recruiting segment, although I don't know if Chris Henry is in it this week, TJ. But yeah, clear to socials of Ohio State. Very interesting.
I was just going to show that. So check this out. He clears his bio. See, all right. I was trying to listen. We told the Buckeyes he's listening to NIL offers. I got that. We told them I was told he's listening to NIL offers. Michigan's pitching NIL. Now, this is not about strictly Michigan. This is about he is still, even though committed to Ohio State, he is still listening to offers. And the Buckeyes, they don't want to hear that. They live in delusion land. So here we go. There's your little time's a ticking, bro. You got the hourglass going right now. And
wow.
No Ohio State mentioned in the bio. And, so here's where we are. And here's the reality of this too. It's February. Teams are offering whatever they're offering. And I'm going to tell you, when it comes to these top 50 kids, top 100, even top 200, but some kids not all kids have the same approach. But these top 50 kids, it's highest bidder for the most part. And I'm going to tell you, if this is not a negotiation tactic, which quite honestly, as effed up as it is, it could be a negotiation tactic for Ohio State to continue upping their offer. But to up your offer in February is a dangerous game. So a lot of these teams are going to let these things play out, which we're going to talk about in the recruiting update because we have some big time prospects Michigan's pursuing. It's interesting to see the current trajectory of the Chris Henry recruitment, and it's something we'll be paying attention to because yes, we didn't get an official visit, but Michigan is in communication with him and his agent. So we'll see where that goes.
Yes. Stay tuned. And we also want to thank Tom Bouchard, who just gifted a Those Who Stay Will Be Champions membership to Marty McFly. We have Marty McFly somewhere in chat. Hopefully he's come back to the future and go ahead and hit that refresh button to enjoy those emojis. So let's get back to our segment here, and let's switch gears to the defensive side of the ball. So I didn't notice as many names with the defense side in terms of the assistants. So we did get an assistant D-backs coach, Brad Hawkins, and outside linebackers, Pernell McPhee.
Yes, former NFL player.
Yep, and Lionel Stokes, safety coach.
Right.
But it does seem like that it was more on the offensive side of the ball that they felt the need, which makes a lot of sense.
Right. Which again points to the thing where it's like, okay, where's the weakness on the coaching staff? Because we all saw that defense started performing top 10, top 5 towards the end of the year. Right. So it's already a sound defense. Wink is still here. The coaching staff's still intact. So why would you adjust what you already have, right? You already have a very well-structured defensive side of the ball. You have the right coaches to teach the scheme and develop the players. We saw development. We saw the scheme do better. Defensive side of the ball has no concern. So, like, again, if you just observe the moves that Sharon is making, he is telling you, not through words, but through action, what are areas of the football team he identifies that needs to improve. And there's no doubt it's the offensive side of the ball. Defensive side of the ball is in a good place. It doesn't mean be complacent. There's always room for improvement every day, get better, right? But we have a lot of good players on that side of the ball. We have the coaching staff in place on that side of the ball. I am anticipating another strong year defensively on that side of the ball.
Yeah, so just looking at the coaching, the full-time coaching hires there. Obviously, Wink Martindale coming back as D coordinator, who I think made tremendous strides as you get down the season.
100%.
Changed his approach to be more college friendly. You could tell the adjustments. You could tell that more intelligent decisions were being made to adjust to the college game. But it wasn't just Wink. Lamar Morgan, obviously D-backs coach and pass game coordinator, has been absolutely crushing it on the recruiting trail, doing a tremendous job. Brian John Marie, linebackers, and Lou Esposito, D-line coach. And you can't argue with the results of what they just did.
Nope.
You just can't. Keeping the national champion to 10 points, and then going and with Michigan's number twos primarily, stopping Alabama's number ones, and holding them and winning that game was a tremendous accomplishment. Those last two, and I give this staff an A on the defensive side of the ball. I think straight up. I mean, I think it's the only thing Brian Jean Marie's recruiting has been maybe not my favorite, but I'm not. But you know what? The results on the field at the end of the season kind of gave me the confidence to make that call.
Dude, exactly. I mean, look at the on-field development. Houseman and Barham, the way they're playing at all Big Ten level, man. And you did bring in Nathan Owasu Boateng. I mean, he's a top player, elite player. Brian Jean Marie. What's interesting about Brian Jean Marie is he's actually considered a whale hunter. He's considered a big-time recruiter. Former recruiting director for Texas. One of the always has been, not always, but typically is above at the top of the list for recruiting. He is the linebackers coach who did bring in Junior Colson to Michigan. I anticipate this season, this 2026 class, to have a stronger, I would say, result at the linebacker room. But let's also be honest, he brought in Todd Bowles, a nice transfer portal addition. Chase Taylor and Nathan Owasu Boateng, they're quality players. Chase Taylor, I'm actually high on. I do think he'll get some playing time at about year 3, year 4, the latest, but probably year 3. It's just I agree with you. Is a staff an A? I mean, it's so interesting. Lou's an excellent technical coach, developer. He is a good recruiter, although I think we would argue we'd like to see that up a notch, even though he did bring Nate Marshall and co. Lamar Morgan is possibly one of the best not even possibly one of the best recruiters in the nation. He might be like top 3. If he's not top 3, then you're drunk. And then Brian Jean Marie is a whale hunter. We got to see him start closing some big dogs now. Mm-hmm. JB Brown's the one that's in question, right? He's really you ever see the picture of the dragons and the one dragon's out of place, or you see you got the soldiers and you got the one guy, I won't say what he is, but you got the guy out of place. That's JB Brown. So
yeah. And here we go with that. Let's talk special teams. Let's do it.
And that's the other thing too, John, is like special teams. JB Brown, it wasn't good. Zavada was good. Yes. But again, that's one of those things where the player's elite is the coaching elite.
Like a Roman Wilson.
Yeah. Right. For Ron Bellamy. Right.
So
yeah. So I mean, it's this is where I'm this is where I have some concern on the roster in terms of the staff. It's JB Brown. Prove me wrong though. We admit when things change, like Ward Manuel, I'm actually becoming pro Ward Manuel, which is hilarious because I was very anti Ward Manuel.
He made a great play to keep Dusty.
He's a proactive athletic director these days. Okay. And he's making good decisions, making good ass decisions. The part, so again, this is on the coaching staff, so we won't get into Ward Manuel, but the trajectory of the entire program just is in a good spot. But yeah, I mean, to the special teams point, JB Brown, I do have some concerns. Prove me wrong, JB Brown.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a C right now.
I'd go a C minus.
Because I think at the end of the day, I think Zvada is bumping up that score a little bit for me from a D. Because obviously one of the best kickers in the country, if not the best kicker in the country, coming back and being able to convince him to come back for another year, that's something you got to give him. And we can't give him all the credit because obviously Sharon is part of that too. But I do think there's some credit there. The punting was very uneven at times last season. Abysmal at times. And yeah, so some of the missteps throughout the season on special teams. So yeah, that is the side of the ball. If we're going to talk about all three phases, that yeah, we're a little concerned. Will the new analyst, will the new assistant special teams coordinator James Brown help out? Very possible. But right now, that's kind of where it looks like we've got it somewhere hovering around the C+ range, or C- range.
We're just gonna have to find out. This is one of those ones where time will tell, and we'll see. Spring game isn't going to give us the answer because it's not live. So we'll find out during the season if they get it together.
For sure. We do have some. Oh, let's. So how about overall? So we've got right now B+ B for offense. We've got A for defense, C+ for special teams. So just rounding that out overall, it's looking somewhere in the A- B+ range, right? Overall,
I'm B+. I'm a B+ right now. We need to see a balance defensively. Well, defensively is fine, but we need to see a balance on both sides of the ball. Offense has got to get it together. We need minimally a top 40 offense, which I think we do have the players and the coaches in place to achieve that. So that's where I'm at. I'm at a B+. I think Sharon is doing a good job. We'll see though once, again, things get live and the results hit the field.
For sure. Well, I'll go with you on that, B+. And part of that has to do with the staff coming back and the results last season were not, until the end of the season, weren't what we wanted. But definitely higher than we would have been giving it this in November, or just with the rankings of the offense and the special teams. It does look like some of our looks like our people in chat are in the B range as well. Although Marmar says A++++++. So we do have Marmar rounding it up for everybody.
There we go.
There we go. All right, we've got some. So thank you, everybody. We do have some super chats we want to take. Captain Stabbin with the 20.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And for your YouTube membership also. So double for Captain Stabbin. And this is one that's I have some thoughts. How do you guys feel about schools canceling spring games? I haven't been on in 2 weeks. Maybe you all covered this a little bit, but I'd like to cover. I think this is a great topic. Big donors calling the shots, not wanting their money wasted in spring game injuries. That's a theory.
Yeah, no. So I mean, John, I'll give my take on it. You can give yours, but I do not like it. I'll give you the reason that they're saying. I mean, it's potentially possible. You're not wrong with the donor component, which is something we could. Maybe that'll shake through the grapevine. But yeah, so I think taking away the spring game from the fans is not good. I mean, like, the reason why these coaches are running scared right now is because their concern is other teams are going to watch the spring game and identify players that they can poach and get into the transfer portal and get them to come to their school. And that's what the concern is. They don't want eyes on their players, their up-and-coming players, their depth players. They don't want any of that. So that's why some of these coaches are canceling the spring game. But I hope that does not happen at Michigan. I'm glad that Sherrone Moore is moving forward. I think the spring game is like a nice, healthy midway point of the off season. It's a little bit of a oasis in this desert of an off season on our way to August, September. So hopefully it stays. But yeah, a lot of coaches are getting scared. I will say this though, I think it's the beginning of what's to come. I think a lot of teams are going to start canceling the spring game unless things change in terms of portal windows.
Yeah, we already started to see it with third base Ryan Day and the Ohio State spring games the last few years becoming more like flag football.
Right.
And now, hey, we're
Culture.
just going to make it a more of a practice or more of a light scrimmage versus a full on football game with tackling. And so how Michigan's done it the last few years, if I'm not mistaken, is that they play tackle football except for the quarterbacks. So the quarterbacks are protected. And it's touch rules for the quarterback, but for everybody else, it's full on. And the reason for that is there are players who are fighting for position, right? They're trying to go up in the roster, right? And this is their main opportunity to not only show the coaching staff, but show the world what they can do on film. So for some of them for the first time ever in college. So I think it's depriving the players a key opportunity in live ball, basically, with some tweaks, depriving them of the opportunity to rise the ladder a little bit. So I have a problem with it, and especially when you combine, TJ, that with what we're seeing with this. Let's have a weak non-conference. Let's play nobody, and then let's skate to 10 wins, and then we'll get we'll still be in the contention for a natty.
Almost sound like you're going to say Mickey Mouse title there, John.
Yeah, we'll just say. No,
so I know Moose will appreciate that, but it's one of those things too where like. The spring game is for the fans, man, and the students who want to go to that game. It's a free game. You take your kid, whatever. Like it's like it's a part of college football, and they're stripping it away. And there's no point to that because, it's also a great opportunity to see all the young guys starting to develop. It's one of the things. Like I know people are not the biggest NFL preseason people. Like there's actually a lot of people who would hate NFL preseason. I love NFL preseason because I love seeing these guys fighting on these rosters and trying to make the 53 and watching the players get caught. And like, I love also seeing cause I love college football. So like, I like seeing these different guys who I'm a fan of on these certain teams make these rosters and watch them play. And, I'm just a fan of watching that. I know some people aren't into that, but the spring game is, in my opinion, something that should not be affected.
Yeah, the one argument I think is somewhat valid is, let me see who made it, but obviously with the portal the way that it is, right, and some of the scouting and contacting that happens no matter what you do, there's contact is being made. There's quote unquote tampering all across college football. And so putting more on film, I get it. But here's the thing. These scouts are already scouring every ounce of film available to them. Yeah. And so would the spring game show maybe a little more? Yes. But they've been evaluating these players for years in some cases, from back to 7th, 8th grade.
Right. And if you're Ohio State, you already have the practice footage anyways. You know what I'm saying? So like they're not, they're not stealing nothing anyways. But to my guy AD, I have bet on preseason before in my early betting days. Interesting times. We'll say that. I've learned my lesson.
We got GT back. Assistant position coaches are critical for continuity, as our coaches will continue to be in high demand year after year from other schools and the NFL. That's facts, GT. Yes, the coaches will continue to be in demand, at least the ones who, I mean, listen, Wink Martindale had multiple interviews and then stayed in college, but obviously you saw it. Obviously the year before with Jim Harbaugh and half of the freaking staff going with him to the Chargers and Jay Harbaugh going to the Seahawks, that there was NFL interest. So you're 100% right. Assistant position coaches. I love this take right here from GT.
I mean, exactly. I mean, and not only that, like one thing we haven't even hit on that's critical, these guys can coach on the field now. So they're not just analysts who have to be on the sideline, or they actually can do on-field coaching, hands-on. So now you can use this opportunity to really develop your coaching tree and find guys who are going to be up and comers, or to GT's point, maybe someone gets yanked, but you have a guy who has experience. Like, would anyone be mad if Soup Campbell was the wide receivers coach of Michigan? No, that'd be a fine hire. So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. You can just bulletproof your staff a little bit more and make it stronger.
Absolutely. Wolverine in Ohio's back, not only becoming a YouTube member, but also with the second super chat for tonight. Do we know anything about Jake Cruel?
Yeah, so this is a very interesting situation here where I don't have a lot of data on Jake Cruel at this time. He's actually not even currently on my list. So from my understanding, there's not a lot for Michigan right now. I mean, unless there's something I'm not aware of. So Jake Cruel is not currently on my target list. Maybe something transpired in the last 48 hours or something I'm not aware of, but currently not on my radar.
Yeah, he is a key target, but I don't necessarily think that he's going to be going to Michigan. It just seems like there's some SEC interest here, that especially Oklahoma, where he'll probably just wind up there, or another SEC program.
Yeah, so I don't have anything on Jake Cruel, but I do have something on Carter Meadows, who plays a similar position. So we'll have that for you on the recruiting update.
Love it. All right, Lance Flory with the 3 months of membership. Go Blue, keep up the hard work, fellas. Really appreciate that, Lance. And thanks for being a member for the 3rd straight month in a row. We really do appreciate everybody who's a member. You see a lot of them listed here in the ticker. And we appreciate everybody. And Junior Frazier is also a member, and just threw out the $1.99. Are they tailoring the offense for Mikey? Is in Mikey Keene?
Mikey Keene.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they're necessarily tailoring I think they're installing Chip Lindsey's offense. And I mean, don't be wrong, these quarterbacks have their strengths, they have their weaknesses. I don't believe it's being tailored to any quarterback. Right. I think they're implementing the offense and identifying what works and what doesn't. I mean, the good news is Mikey Keene fits this offense, this quick power spread, get it out of your hand, screen offense that we have, that Mikey Keene should. I'm telling you guys, if Mikey Keene can limit turnovers, bad decisions, he's going to surprise a lot of people. He's a good quarterback, guys. He just has a decision-making problem. Obviously Bryce Underwood's better. We know this in terms of talent and skill, but Bryce will excel regardless. And then to our guy who asked about Jay Cruel, AD's in the chat saying he will be visiting March 22nd.
Okay, March 22nd. Again, I still think he's probably going to Oklahoma, but visits have changed minds before. But we also just want to be real with our viewers, as we always are.
Yeah, I try. So for me, I try to only, now this doesn't mean I bet 1,000 either, but I try to only bring players where there's momentum or I'm confident we're in a good position. I could scattershot it, but I try, I will not name the name, but there is an individual in the Michigan space who scattershots often, and people will probably know who I'm talking about, but I don't know why. That's not for me. What's the point? Why talk about a player we're not really pursuing? But that's me. That's my approach. I like to just focus on guys we have realistic chances for. Not saying, by the way, not saying we can't have a real, because there's a lot there I need to learn still. So I will look into it more on my end. And let's be honest too. Here's another thing that's true. Whatever transpires through March through May, June, listen, new names are going to pop up. And really all it takes is a visit. All it takes is a phone call in the NIL era. So we'll see. We'll keep tabs on it.
We will indeed, as we do for all these players. And before we get to our recruiting roundup, perfect segue for that, we do want to just encourage people to consider becoming a YouTube member here at Michigan Football, at the voice of college football. Just $2.99 a month is where it begins. If you want to get access to our two members only streams, the March Madness bracket, and other perks, at least go in. You consider the $4.99 Those Who Stay Will Be Champions, or the $9.99 Connor Stalions Espionage Team. And you can see some of the members listed right at the bottom here in our ticker. You've seen them all show, and we highlight our members like Marmars here and Hail to the Blue. These are people who are members, YouTube members here on our channel. So we would love to if you would consider that. Not only does it support us and gets you access to special intelligence and special content, but it's just a great way to be part of the community. Okay. Absolutely. Here we go. So get your popcorn ready, because we got your recruiting roundup coming at you here. So we've got some names that I think a lot of you want to know about. With beginning here with Savion Hyder, and so that's somebody that we've been monitoring for maybe 9-10 months. I mean, we've been looking at it for a long time for Savion Hyder. I mean, what is some of the latest that you've seen from his recruitment?
Yeah, so this is like really interesting. This recruiting roundup, or this update. We're talking about elite talent here. Every single name on here is like, dude, bro. We're talking about 5 stars or top of the position type players. Savion Hyder is the #1 running back in the nation, and all eyes are kind of on Savion Hyder because, and we will get to Javion Osborne. And those who have been following recruiting know what has occurred within the last week with him. So now we're kind of looking at Savion Hyder. Where does Michigan stand? We know we know he did say Michigan was the leader. Currently, Steve Wilfong has maintained that Michigan is still the leader for Savion Hyder. Georgia is going to be pushing hard. And because of the recent predictions that have gone in for Javion Osborne, people are wondering, does this make Savion Hyder less interested? Does he want to be a part of that Sonic and Knuckles duo that makes Michigan the most dominant running backfield in college football for years to come? Well, all accounts are that Savion Hyder is still staying course. He plans on making his June 13th through the 15th official visit, and he will be making a decision after his official visits. And currently, as things stand, as of February 25th, it still appears that Michigan is, to quote Steve Wilfong, the team to beat. And that's excellent news, because the Michigan perspective is that Savion Hyder is a generational running back. They believe that Savion Hyder is very special. So they're going to continue to pursue him. And that's excellent news, because Javion Osborne, John.
Yeah.
Who we're going to pull up his huddle tape here for you guys, because we have actually not watched Javion Osborne yet on this channel. So I want to share this with you guys so you guys can get an idea of who this running back is. Last time I checked, he was the #4 running back in the nation. And as you guys may know or may not know, Michigan has stolen, the Lions have stolen Texas's running back coach, who has now plucked him from Texas and made him their running back coach for the Detroit Lions. So my Detroit Lions have helped Michigan. And because of that move, Tony Alford has made a strong play for Javion Osborne. As you guys check him out on the highlight tape, this kid is legit, very good, extremely balanced, has quickness, has vision, all of it. He's a very good player. We're excited to be receiving predictions, not only from On3, but 247. And there is a lot of positive momentum right now that Michigan is going to be the team for Javion Osborne, because Tony Alford, who Ohio State could not recruit, wrong again, is his best relationship, and he really has a good bond with him. And not only does he have a good bond with him, he really likes seeing himself being a part of Michigan's power offense with our offensive line mentality, our running back mentality, and then, of course, playing alongside Bryce Underwood. So these are all exciting things for a young prospect, and things are trending in an excellent trajectory for Javion Osborne. There's a very strong, and I know, and I'm aware that, there's some people on the 247 side who don't want to, it's recruiting. Anything can happen, right? Things can change. But I will say, we're feeling really good now, boys. We're feeling really good about this. I'm optimistic that this is definitely trending blue, and it may happen sooner than later too. And I want to give you guys an update. Javion Osborne is going to be visiting Michigan March 28th for an unofficial multi-day visit, by the way. And now I am assuming here, but just from following recruiting for a while, when you have a player who's the momentum is where it is right now, very strong, and you have a player who's going to be doing a multi-day official visit, it is my opinion, and this is an assumption on my end, Michigan can close. It's going to be closing season, and I think they can get him. Again, no intel here, just my opinion. I think they can get him before official visits occur and lock him up. I believe Michigan's in that good of a position, and I'm telling you guys, he's coming from Texas, okay? He's paying on his dime to do a multi-day visit at Michigan. That's no coincidence, all right, guys? So in my opinion, things are in a great direction there. Be on the lookout for Javion Osborne. The next player we're going to talk about, John.
Real quick on him. So do you think that so there are two things that I saw with respect to this. Number one, canceling the official visit to Texas looked like a really positive indicator, but I am seeing a little bit of buzz about Alabama. But given the fact that he's now investing out of his own dime to come for an unofficial, do you think he's that Michigan has left Alabama in the dust when it comes to this
I mean, look,
recruitment?
there's going to be teams that are going to enter the ring. It's just the lead is so large right now. And and here's another thing too about Javion Osborne is he's a relationships kid. So he really has a strong relationship with Tony Alford. It is my opinion that the relationship is so strong, it'll be hard for teams to make up ground. And here's the thing, you're not going to out NIL Michigan. So this isn't gonna be one of those things where Alabama decides, you know what, today's the day. We're just gonna we just beat them out for Ty Haywood. Now, again, there is a point where Michigan will only NIL so far. So I suppose it's possible a team, especially a team like Tennessee, but they're not in this, by the way. But like a school like that, Miami is though. Miami is one of those schools. So you could have a school like a Miami who decides we're gonna get crazy. But at the same time, I just feel like Michigan's in such a great position right now. This is not something listen, Michigan was considered the favorite in December. Texas pulled ahead, especially having the running back coach that they had. I can't remember his name. I think it's like Tashard Choice. I could be wrong though on that, so don't quote me. I should know because the Lions just hired him. But regardless, Michigan has now taken the lead. And listen, we only have a few months here, guys. A lot has to occur for Javion Osborne to be going in a different direction. It is my opinion, especially with the aggression that Michigan is taking for the 26 class for running backs. I just feel very good right now. I'm very confident about our position. I'm not worried about Alabama at this moment. So it is Tashard Choice. Okay. I feel good about it. And I will let you guys know if that changes. So if that changes, we'll give you guys an update on that. But currently, as it stands, I'm feeling very optimistic about Javion Osborne as a Michigan Wolverine.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
those two together, Hyder and Osborne.
Well, let's see if they can do it. What a
combo.
Let's see if they can do it, man. But I'm going to be real with you. Michigan is not effing around right now. We're going to get into that because these are big time players we're going to talk about. And one thing you'll notice with the players we're talking about now and the players who are being scheduled to visit, we're talking about elite talent. Like Michigan is not bargain bin shopping right now. And I also want to talk about at the end of this recruiting update, John, the approach that Michigan is taking. All right. The approach that a school like Michigan, I don't want to quote it and say that I know for a fact. I feel confident in some things, but in terms of what Michigan is doing, in terms of why isn't Michigan landing? Why is USC balling out right now? Why is USC getting all these commits, #1 class in 2026? We'll talk about that at the end of the recruiting update. I want to give you guys kind of my view on how that's all being played out right now. But Felix Oho, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But 5-star offensive tackle. Michigan has been on this kid for a very long time. Currently plan to visit Michigan June 6th through 8th for an official visit. There is a belief he's trending SEC. I'm trying to remember. I think it's either Georgia. I think it's Georgia. That's the school that is currently I could be wrong there. There's another school that is kind of the favorite right now. But at the end of the day, boys, we know how recruiting works. We know that it doesn't matter if you lead because official visits can change things. Phone calls can change things. But at the end of the day, this is a player that Michigan has been recruiting for a long time. Relationships have been built, especially before he got bumped up to a 5-star. Michigan's been on it early. And what I want to just bring to you guys is that he is scheduled for an official visit June 6th through June 8th. And it'll be interesting to see how this one progresses. We'll find out how things trend. Currently, I think it is Georgia. I think they're currently the favorite to get him, but we'll see how that one plays out. The big one everyone wants to talk about, and we've had some updates on this pretty frequently, Jackson Cantwell. Our own recruiting analyst of the Voice of College Football, Leanne Herring, has also, along with other recruiting analysts, have discussed that Michigan is a dark horse here. They are in the top group, and they are a player. Now, Oregon is considered the early favorite. Georgia's another power program making a move here. But Michigan, we know how Michigan operates, guys. Like, Michigan is a Joe Moore award-winning NIL power right now, and they're not to be slept on. So what's very interesting right now is that Jackson Cantwell has set an official visit to Michigan June 13th. So we are going to get an official visit. We're going to get our opportunity. We'll be able to swing. Hopefully we got some momentum heading into it. And I feel that, if the Michigan, I feel we'll get into, I'll get into what I believe Michigan's doing recruiting wise, and we'll see if it plays out how I think it's going to play out. But we'll get into that. But I do feel, I'll give a little snippet here. I feel there's going to be momentum heading into official visits, and I think Michigan can make some moves. We'll see though. What I do know, and I've told you guys this since October, 2026, they're planning for a big year. 2026, they're trying to get a top 5 class. I have said that consistently, and I still feel strong about that. Our next player we're going to talk about, John, who I am a major fan of. This is one of my early crushes in the 26 class, Travis Johnson. I love this kid. I swear we get him. I'm going to be so ecstatic because this is a 6'3" wide receiver out of Virginia. He's a personal favorite of mine. He's going to be visiting June 13th for an official visit. Underwood is personally recruiting him, and his mom is very public on social media discussing about how excited she is to be coming to Michigan. I even made a post about Travis Johnson coming to Michigan, and she commented on it, simply saying, we cannot wait to get there. And I let her know we are glad to have you there, and we can't wait to have you there. But I mean, it's just stuff like that. His mom's very vocal, very excited about Michigan. And from my understanding, Michigan's in a very good place here. And this is one of the wide receivers who we're going to talk about, the next wide receiver, which we're going to talk about, and I'm going to give a shout out to one of my social media guys. I can't remember who posted it, but they gave a projection of maybe not optimal, but maybe realistic ideal class for Michigan for 2026, which we will talk about after we talk about Tristan Keys. And if we are able to land these 4 wide receivers, which I will talk about, major, it'd be major. And I think Michigan could. I think it's potentially possible Michigan can. And the next player we're going to talk about, John, is Tristan.
Travis, real quick, something notable that he said is that, not only does he have a really good relationship with the head coach, Sharon Moore, but and told him happy birthday, but he also came to his high school with Chip Lindsey and, very notably, Sean McGee, general manager. And when Sean McGee comes to town, that's right. This is serious business, and we're talking business and NIL here.
That's right.
Not just hey, we're just going to come by and sit. No, when Sean McGee comes to watch you, it's serious.
Yeah, and it's because Michigan has him at the top of the board. Michigan, Underwood, like I said, this is one where Underwood's definitely making a presence felt, and we're going to find out if Michigan can pull it off. But I am extremely, Sean McGee is, we got to be careful with Sean McGee because word is there's some NFL teams and potentially other programs taking a look at Sean McGee right now. But hopefully, but nothing to be worried about right now, just something we should be aware of. But anyways, regardless, when we look at Travis Johnson, we look at this next player, John, Tristan Keys, who we're going to pull his huddle tape up. This is the true number 1 wide receiver in the nation. And we have talked about Tristan Keys a little bit, John. And one of the things we talked about, and again, and it's okay and it's all love, because I even got some feedback on social media where you guys have I've had an individual reach out to me and say, I apologize for not believing. It's all good. It's all love. Because what I told you guys was Michigan is going to be making aggressive NIL moves for some of the elite talent in 2026, because they are looking to land an elite wide receiver. And I told you guys maybe 2-3 weeks ago, I felt that Michigan, once Bryce Underwood hits the field, once they see Chip Lindsey's offense and they see our offensive system and the way things look, I do believe Michigan's going to land a top 100, top 50 type wide receiver. And there's no doubt that Michigan is aggressively pursuing in the NIL here. And what's exciting about the Tristan Keys development is initially Michigan was left off of his top schools list, John. But guess what?
What's that?
Tristan Keys is going to be visiting Michigan April 5th. And guess who's on this recruitment, John?
Who's on the recruitment? Is it Queen Jolene?
It is Queen Jolene, baby. Queen Jolene is on. Queen Jolene is not only on some of these other ones like Jackson Cantwell. This is another Queen Jolene recruitment. So now does that guarantee Tristan Keys to Michigan? No, but what it does is it shows that Michigan's not effing around in terms of landing an elite talent for Bryce Underwood for this offense. And I'm going to be honest, man. When I found out that about Queen Jolene, and also it's not even just that. Michigan has a very motivated NIL approach to these elite guys right now. And that is why you are seeing, again, that's why I wanted to point out the elite talent in this update, because Michigan's really swinging and they're really going for it. Now we'll see how this progresses, because this is, again, something I will not guarantee that we will land, but Michigan is in the fight. And that is all we've asked for, because if you guys remember recruiting the last 3 years or so, 2 to 3 years, we were not in these battles. And if we did not have NIL to where we have it now, and we did not have a Sean McGee, we did not have donors like Queen Jolene, and then, for example, Jackson Cantwell, which I didn't even mention, Dave Portnoy's on that one as well. Like, we have a strong donor base who are really stepping up, allowing Michigan to be in these elite recruitments. And in my opinion, actually, it's not in my opinion, these are exciting times for Michigan, and I'm extremely excited about the trajectory. And this dude's a monster, by the way. I'll tell you what, John, we land Tristan Keys. We're doing an instant live, and I'm not capping it. We're going to go as long as we got to go. Like, these are like, if we land, bro, we land Tristan Keys or Jackson Cantwell or Savion Hyder, we're going to have one of those special lives. I'll tell you that right now. We'll be partying, boys.
Yeah, and something notable about is they are kind of utilizing him both in the Z and the X in the film here. But I really like when he's utilized in the X as a deep threat. He is getting that separation. He's making it happen, which gives me confidence that Chip Lindsey would be able to utilize him in the spread and smash very effectively, because he's doing just that. He's spreading it out. He's getting the separation, getting the hand out when he needs to, just to get a little bit of separation. I really like what I'm seeing here.
Absolutely. I mean, dude, listen, there is a belief he's better than Chris Henry Jr. Now, how wild would it be if Ohio State lands Chris Henry and we get Tristan Keys, and we can really have the battle of like, who's the best wide receiver? Plus we got Bryce Underwood. They got like Tavion St. Clair or whatever. It'd be a hell of a battle for the rivalry. But we'll get to our next player here, John. So this is another interesting development going on. So we have 5-star number 6 player in the nation, Carter Meadows. Okay. What's interesting about this is Michigan is apparently in the top 3 of this. And this kind of came out of nowhere. And typically when things come out of nowhere, it's because, for example, like Tristan Keys getting an April 5th visit. It's because things are occurring behind the scenes. And we all know if you're a 5-star, you're getting phone calls. So I'm very interested to see where this goes. In this top 3, it's looking like it's Penn State, Michigan, Georgia. I know Michigan is trying to solidify that defensive line. This is one of those players where you build, again, like, listen, you get a Jackson Cantwell, hypothetically, you get a Tristan Keys, you get a Carter Meadows. These are cornerstone players to build your class around. We know that a player like Bryce Underwood in terms of the quarterback position is not going to be likely for the 26 class, considering Bryce Underwood occurred the class prior, right? So if you can build you get these other cornerstone elite talents at these other positions, build the class around them with the projection of building the team around Bryce, That's how you do it. You land these elite players at these important critical positions: offensive tackle, edge, wide receiver may not be considered as critical, but it is for Michigan because we have an extreme need. And you better believe when Michigan sell, and I know I'm jumping right now, but when you sell Tristan Keys early playing time, which we can. Oh, you want to start as a freshman? We will. So, that's one of the things that Michigan. Oh, you want to start as a freshman with Bryce Underwood as your quarterback in an offense that is going to make you a focus and you're going to be the alpha. Here's some NIL. Yeah, that's appealing to a young kid. So, to Carter Meadows again, like this is again exciting because you see Michigan now going after these elite talents early, which is good to see, building the relationships, getting these kids on visits. I have not seen when the Carter Meadows visit is planned, but I do anticipate seeing something in the near future if it's not already scheduled. And then the last player, John, who we're going to hit on, and I don't know if did you have that? If not, no big deal because I can go off the sleeve here. All right,
Trey
the last
Taylor.
player, Trey Taylor, bro. 2027 QB1. Okay. We had him on our show in the summer. I've been in touch with him recently. And he told me, okay, when I plan my visit with Michigan, which has not been decided yet, although it has now, which we'll talk about. He says he's willing to come on our show and discuss his visit and things like that. So we're going to be reaching out to Trey Taylor. We look to have him on the show in the future. Friend of the program, good kid. So currently, Trey Taylor has limited his list down to Texas A&M, LSU, Michigan, Nebraska, and Illinois.
Let's go.
He has been to Michigan close to 30 times.
He
even visited Michigan in December. He's now going to be visiting Michigan again March 25th. We need to be on the lookout. We will look to get him on the show after his visit to maybe we can get an update on spring practice. What did he see? How's he feeling? He's looking to make a decision early in June 6th. So this way he can start building the 2027 class. I'm telling you right now, we better land this kid, bro. So currently, I believe he's ranked fourth in the nation, something crazy. He's an elite talent, 6'3" quarterback out of Illinois. I'm actually looking up to see where he's ranked now because they fluctuate.
Yeah.
So so he's not on 247s, but on 3 I know has him ranked already. So let me just double check.
Well, while you do that, I think one thing, if we have Trey Taylor on, one thing I really am going to want to ask is, what do you think of Chip Lindsey, and what do you think of Chip Lindsey's offense? Because that's the thing that he's indicated is the one hesitation right now,
right?
Because
correct.
He's been to Michigan so many times, he's practically maize and blue already, but he doesn't have that relationship with Chip Lindsey. And so that's something I really want to know about when he comes onto the show.
Absolutely. And he has said publicly, he has seen absolutely everything he needs to see about Michigan. He just needs to meet Chip Lindsey and see what this offense looks like. I feel, again, assumption, but I feel spring ball, he's going to see Bryce Underwood in action. Trey Taylor's similar in terms of has dual threat capability, has a strong arm. He's actually ranked 14th in the nation right now, number 4 overall quarterback for 27 class. I feel Michigan's going to knock it out of the damn park. They've been working very hard on Trey Taylor. This is a player they've been working on for years, literally. And they have almost 30 visits invested. I anticipate that Michigan's going to excel on this visit, but we'll find out if the presentation is enough to make Trey Taylor and his family comfortable enough to commit to Michigan June 6th. And I'll tell you right now, we land Trey Taylor on June 6th, we're going to do an emergency live because that's going to be a major get because if we land Trey Taylor, John, you land Bryce Underwood, right? You potentially land a Brady Smeagol for 26, and you get Trey Taylor for 2027. The trajectory and the future of the program at the most important position on the field is healthy for the next 6 years, John. And Michigan's going to continue recruiting at an elite level. The money's not going anywhere. Like that's another thing too. So we can kind of get into this now. I could tell you like my view on the recruiting approach right now. Not only that, some of the whispers that's going on with the revenue sharing right now. The belief is that the football team is going to get 75% of the $20 million in terms of revenue share. 10% is going to go to the basketball team, and the remaining 10% is going to go to the remaining varsity club or varsity teams across Michigan athletics. So that's excellent news, because if you've been watching our show, you would know some of the rumblings last summer were a 50-50 split between men and women's sports. We heard in September that viewpoint was changing and evolving, and they were looking to give more to football, especially because of the way NIL has been going, the way that football team was performing on the field. It appears that currently, as it stands, as of February, 75% of that revenue share, which I believe there's a hearing or a court, something going on in April where they're going to settle that, and it should be, I believe, in motion in either June or July. I used to know that, but I kind of fell off on it. But regardless, that's an additional, like, was it 15 million or whatever it is, to the football team in terms of revenue share. So
yeah,
it's
huge. It
man.
seems like the football team will get the vast majority, basketball number 2, and then some of the other sports a sliver of that. And remember, we talked about this early on, TJ. As much as we love women's water polo, at the end of the day, we know that football and basketball are the 2 major revenue drivers, and need the most support in terms of in terms of personnel growth, in terms of all the things that need to happen for the athletic department.
And to Keegan's point, so Keegan goes, it should be 80. I'll be honest, Keegan, I felt it should also be 80. I think it should be 80, 15, 5. Whatever. It is what it is. We got some donors who are playing ball. So, but yeah, that's kind of where we are. And then in terms of like Michigan's recruiting approach, John. Okay. So I've watched the way Alabama and Georgia have recruited for a while now. And if anyone's kind of watched how they've operated, they actually start slow. Alabama, especially during the Nick Saban later years, they would start slow. They'd actually be ranked in like the 20s by like July. And people would be like, oh, is Alabama falling off? No, because what you don't want to do, and we're going to watch USC. This will be an excellent test sample to see how USC is going to handle this. You don't want to give your best offer now, right? The clock for negotiation isn't even finalized until December. So if you start highest bidding right now, and you're not keeping, you're not keeping the fire warm, which I believe that's what Michigan's really doing right now. So like, okay, this is kind of where we are. This is our number, but they're not, and nothing's firm at the moment. That's the best approach in the NIL era, because guys, we could land, and we know this, we could land a commitment in March. We could land a commitment in July. What the hell? Ask Alabama how it went for Ty Haywood. Ask LSU how it went for Bryce Underwood. It's a dangerous game to go in hard early. And I think USC's we saw what happened to USC's class last year where it fell apart at the end. Remember, once these kids see the field the play on the field, and they see, oh man, this coach's seat is hot. The team's not performing well. I got Missouri offering me X amount of money. I got Miami or Oregon or Michigan wants to, what I mean? Like, it's
committing
dangerous.
early is never the best idea. And remember also, right, TJ, that Lincoln Riley is on, if not a scorching hot seat, he's on his not cold seat either. I mean, he needs to perform this year and go, I'd say 8 wins, 7-8 wins, absolute minimum. So he's feeling the pressure to perform, and so they're throwing some bags, right, because they need to. And we'll see. But some of those players are gonna wind up going elsewhere.
Look, it's do or die for Lincoln Riley, and I'll tell you right now, I think it's a dangerous game to be aggressive with recruiting right now. I think the slow play is the right play. And I think the current trajectory of the prospect that Michigan is, and that's another thing too that I think we should, I want to hit on. Look at what Michigan is pursuing. A lot of high-end players early. You're not seeing a lot of the 3-star commotion, the developmental. No. You're seeing Michigan going after the premium prospect early. They're going to shoot their shots. They're going to also get a feel for where these recruitments are. And then we're going to watch this play out. I think 2026 is going to be an excellent sample to see the approach that Michigan is going to take for years to come, especially with Sean McGee as our general manager. Hopefully he stays our general manager and does not move on. But I think Michigan is playing this correctly. And I also think, like a lot of people were concerned that recruiting wasn't the strongest for 2020 in terms of wide receiver. Recruiting wasn't the strongest for 2025. The portal wasn't the strongest for wide receiver. And this is why, though, because Michigan knew they're building like a professional team, right? Your rebuild does not happen in 1 year. You build a championship, Super Bowl, Stanley Cup, World Series winner, NBA championship over years of stacking talent and depth and development. And that is Michigan's play. They're slow playing this for the long game to build a sustainable winner over years to come. So I think Michigan's on the right path. Now, as a fan, does it get a little frustrating that there's a waiting game and we have to wait to kind of see the roster built into a place where maybe we're not so anxious, because I think we are anxious at left guard. I think we are a little anxious at wide receiver. There is some questions at nickel corner, right? But at the end of the day, Michigan's recruiting at a top 10 level, if not top 5. And I think we have a good blueprint for the future of Michigan football.
Well, on that inspiring note, we do have some brand new members. So we have been encouraging people to join our membership program, especially because we're headed close to the monthly. We have 2 members only hangouts, and we're about to have next Monday our next Avengers Assemble hangout, Monday, March 3rd. So AD, you will get access to that as a Those Who Stay Will Be Champions member, and hit the refresh button because you also get some really awesome emojis that you can try out. So we appreciate that from AD, as well as The Journey just joined our Leaders and Best membership tier. So we're getting some new members as we do our show today, and it's greatly appreciated. Whatever level, whatever tier, The Journey, hit that refresh so you can enjoy your emojis. And then we have a $10 from Ben. So this is a great kind of wrap-up question after the recruiting segment. Side question, do you have any idea if the NIL deals players sign can include provisions that prevent them from transferring?
No, they cannot, because there is no collective bargaining agreement. You cannot prevent a player from transferring to another school with an NIL deal. If a player transfers, then the NIL deal is void. And players are only paid for what they are, however long they're at the school, or whatever agreements they made in terms of like a signing bonus or whatever. So yeah, no, the NIL deal becomes void. They don't owe the money back, but they are free to leave until there is a collective, quite honestly, until we see a new league with a collective bargaining agreement. This is going to be the current landscape of recruiting with NIL.
Yeah, the closest, and I've said this, the closest that I've seen to there are a couple of deals that have gotten to the line by saying have a residence in the town, in the city in which the college is, right? And so, you've got to have a residence in Gainesville, right, in order to get this. But at the end of the day, like you said, if players transfer, the deal's null and void. That's why you got to do a Quinn Ewers, get the money up front, and then bail.
Especially if it's Ohio State.
Yeah, especially if it's Ohio. Fuck those guys. All right. So with that said, we're going to transition here to more of a business approach here, because we now have a brand new email address for partnering sponsorships with the Voice of College Football. So learn how the Voice of College Football Network can benefit you. And one, of course, testimonial, we want to thank Lisa Wynn at the Wynn Agency for giving this incredible testimonial about the engagement that they've received from the sponsorship, and even acquired new clients as a result of the sponsorship. So get your business, product, service, or personal brand to the next level by partnering with the Voice of College Football. Let's discuss how you also can reach our your target market. Check out the experience of one of our current partners. We are here to deliver for you. Contact us at sponsorships at vocfb.com today.
Absolutely. Because, I'll tell you right now, and I mean this, especially the Michigan channel, I can, I am a part of, for those who know, I do handle operations for the network, but, I can guarantee for the Michigan channel, you join us as a sponsor, you're a part of our team. We want you to succeed. You succeeding is us succeeding, and we will do everything in our power to help your business grow, help it reach your targets. And we really appreciate, of course, Win Agency. We see you guys in the chat for sticking with us and being a part of our channel. And then any new company who would also like to partner with us, we'd greatly appreciate that relationship.
Absolutely. Love the Win Agency. And we're excited, obviously, to continue with them on the March Madness initiative. And there they are right here. It's a win-win. Yes, it is, Moose. Thank you, Win Agency, for backing this up and for an awesome testimonial. So we're really excited to start having more conversations with various businesses, products, services, and even personal brands. If there's a personal brand that has a marketing budget and they'd like to promote their brand, and they can also do that on Voice of College Football. Remember, it's not just the Michigan channel. We've got channels now. The Rutgers channel just started the Iowa State channel, which is very exciting, with Levi and so on and so forth. So new channels are coming. It feels like every day I wake up and I have a pot of coffee and I see that there's a new channel at the Voice of College Football Network.
We actually just got our Tennessee channel filled. So Tennessee will be up. Tennessee is going to be the new channel. Yeah, man, we just keep, we got some other things coming down the line too with some other channels. So we're looking forward to that.
For sure. All right. And also, of course, the owner of our network has a book. So check this out. It's Disputed National Champions by Mark Rogers. Get it at an Amazon near you. Learn about the 90s and some of the national championships that happened those years. And we will have Mark on to talk Michigan, Nebraska 97 in the coming weeks, which should be very exciting to help promote as well. So our last topic today is the way too early defensive line predictions for 2025. This is the continuation of our series where we're going through every single position group and giving our take of who we think is going to be in these positions. And so kind of we are putting in the front four, but also the kind of edge hybrid position as well, the TJ Guy position, as we're gonna be talking about. So all five of those will be mentioned for the starting line and the backup.
Right. So, I mean, to start off, John, we got our Sam / it's, really they play field and boundary, and this is your TJ Guy role. This is kind of the hybrid when the defense wants a different look. They'll throw TJ Guy out there to be opposite of Derek Moore, who's going to be your rush edge, who's your field end. And then, with Michigan, you have your Cameron Brandt. This is kind of your 4-tech hybrid, kind of, where they'll throw him in there, kind of like a Chris Jenkins role. This is your Cameron Brandt, who started to show at the end of the year. We anticipate that Cameron Brandt will be the starting close end for this defense next year. Then we add our nose tackle, our 0-tech position. I currently have Trey Pierce, who's going to be the starting nose tackle for Michigan. We also saw him start to come on, especially the Alabama game. And then big Rayshon Benny, who I am anticipating, and I think we would all agree this isn't unique for me, a big year. He's been ready. He's been performing at an elite level. Pro Football Focus has him as already one of the top defensive tackles. Rayshon Benny is going to be replacing Mason Graham in that 3-tech role, disrupting, pushing the pocket, getting pressure on the quarterback and stopping the run. This is your starting defensive line. It's a very, I would say, high ceiling defensive line, but there is some questions, right? So is TJ Guy ready for this role, John, to be in that guy? Is Trey Pierce ready to fill the Kenneth Grant shoes? Now, will he be Kenneth Grant? Probably not. But can he perform at a high level and do his job so this defense can perform as it's designed? Because the 0-tech position in this defense is actually very critical, because you have to be able to push the quarterback. You have to be able to apply pressure up the middle. And that's, we utilize our defensive tackles very aggressively with this defense. So this way we can get the quarterback uncomfortable and shut these offenses down. So
Yeah.
Derek Moore, I will say lastly, John, I'll let you hit it. I do think Derek Moore is in for a big year. We got Derek Moore to come back, a little NIL didn't hurt that. And this is Derek Moore's season to really make a name for himself and move up the draft boards.
For sure. Yeah, Derek Moore is the no-duh. If there's a no-duh obvious, I mean, he's got to be one of them, right? Two-time All-Big Ten selection, appeared in 40 games along with 11 starts. So some real experience coming in here. Had a career 5 tackles, career high against Rutgers in 23, but also solo tackles. We've seen him sack, obviously a great sack against Michigan State. I always like when they stick it to Michigan State. But it's not just Derek Moore. Another one here, obviously Rayshawn Benny has been in 42 games with 4 starts. 3-time Letterman, and so wherever you go on this, they've seen some playing time, right? TJ Guy 36 games with 2 starts, right? Cameron Brandt, right? This is another player, 27 games. So with this said, I mean, while some of them don't have a ton of starts under their belt, they do have a lot of appearances, and every single one of them has multiple really notable career highs on this starting D line, even if they didn't start last year, TJ.
Well, and that's the thing too, John. So what you're really saying here is we have a defensive line with a lot of experience, because this defensive line has played in playoff games, has played in national championship games, has played in Big Ten championship games, has played in the game, right? These guys are already battle tested. We have actually a pretty experienced group here, which is exciting about it. And not only is this group experienced, John, they all had flashed a lot of potential last season. We have seen TJ Guy shine when he started getting more snaps. We saw him starting to produce and wrecking havoc on Alabama and the Ohio States. We saw Trey Pierce start to break through and shine. We know what Rayshawn Benny is. Cameron Brandt also started to step up and really create some plays. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. And let's remember, this defensive line is led by Lou Esposito, one of the best developmental defensive line coaches in college football. I mean, he has a track record of putting guys in the NFL, even from smaller schools. So, I mean, I'm pretty excited about this group. There is some prove it. They do need to prove it, because it is a group that has not had a lot of starting experience, but there is a lot of talent here, and we should still be a damn good defensive line that wrecks a lot of havoc for these offenses next season.
Absolutely. I think I'm very excited about this group, and I trust Wink Martindale. I trust the coaching staff to put the right people here in the right positions. And so, some of these backups even have had some notable moments in games, like obviously in the Sam position in our backup slot is Tyler McLaurin. And while there wasn't, I mean, he appeared in 13 games his senior year, but he was actually, so he has been kind of in there, including 11 on special teams. I'm very excited about Etta getting a little bit more play. He had a really great game against Northwestern, right? With respect to tackles, half of a sack, tackle for loss. So some of these players, look, they're not going as Wink. What Wink does is he does rotate some of these players in. So you are going to see, maybe not on snap 1 of game 1, but you are going to see these players at various points and various concepts throughout the games.
Absolutely. And that's very critical for our defense. You have to keep this defensive line fresh. We like to rotate. And it does appear we have a nice 8 to 9, possibly 10-man rotation. I do feel more confident in the 8 to 9 range. But yeah, I do think Tyler McLaurin, it's his time to shine. He was also a part of that Brian John Marie recruiting class with Junior Colson. It's now his time to step up. He was a nice prospect coming out of Illinois. Enow Etta, the former top 100 player out of Texas. It's his time to shine. We saw last year him starting to make those strides. I do believe next year is his year to be a difference maker. Damon Payne, the former 5-star out of Belleville, Michigan, who went to Alabama, transferred from Alabama, now coming to Michigan for a prominent role. I have him at the nose tackle position because I do believe he can add a good 10 to 15 pounds this offseason. And I think Michigan's going to utilize him there because there is a need. Trey Williams, believe it or not, there's a lot of excitement out of Michigan for Trey Williams, who came from Clemson. This is another transfer target because Michigan focused very heavily on the trenches through the transfer portal. And I do think Trey Williams is going to get a lot of run here. I'm anticipating Trey Williams to be a prominent rotational piece. And then lastly, but not least, Dominic Nichols, who was an extremely intriguing prospect coming out of high school. Mm-hmm. It is now his time to shine. Now, I will say this, it's potentially possible, John, which we don't have here, another player making noise this spring ball or this summer, summer camp into fall camp, a player we're not naming yet. Like, could it be a Devin Baxter? Is Nate Marshall already ready to see some run as a freshman, right? Is Manuel Beagle ready to step up? Ike Awana. Like, there's tons of names here. Keyshawn Bennett, I know Juju's gonna love that. He's not a very big fan of Keyshawn Bennett, but like, even so, there's a lot of players here who have the opportunity to take a job because there's opportunity with all of the turnover we had from this year. So yeah, it's a interesting position group that does have depth and should be dominant for another year.
Yeah. Nate Marshall, not on my starters or backups right now, but if I had to think of a player that could easily rise up to at the very least the backup slot, it would be like a Nate Marshall type, right? Who is coming in, obviously very highly regarded, and there was some worry he may not be part of Michigan's kind of in the end, and there's some whispers there. Very exciting that he obviously decided to land back at Michigan, and he's a great talent that I think could easily do that.
Yeah,
TJ.
so I agree, John. So I don't have Nate Marshall in the 2 deep, but I'm going to tell you, I feel confident that somebody we're not naming is going to emerge and make the 2 deep. Who is that going to be? We'll find out. Spring ball, we should get some good rumblings. I believe, when does spring practice start? I think I saw it was like March 18th or something, or March 20th.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
18th, 19th, or 20th is when I think I saw the date. So, intel will be coming in soon. I mean, it's literally going to be March next week. So football is upon us, boys.
Yeah, Tuesday, March 18th.
There we go. So it was the 18th. All right, good deal.
Yep, you got it. All right, folks. Well, that's another episode in the books. We do want to, of course, encourage everybody to, we have our multiple shows, live streams. TJ, I believe you are on this week for I forgot to ask about this, but Thursday at 8. Great.
Yeah. So I will be on Thursday at 8 o'clock. We're gonna have a very interesting guest, an individual by the name of Day. You may have seen him in the chat. He's interesting. I'll just say that. I've had some talks with him. He knows some things about some things, and interesting guy. So we will have Day on. He will be guest hosting with me for the Thursday call-in show, and we'll have a good ass time, man. We'll talk some football. If you guys want to hit on some basketball, we talk about some basketball, and you already know the deal. We'll do the damn thing.
There it is. So check out the call-in show live Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then also the next show after that is going to be the Monday at 3 p.m. or not Monday at 3 p.m. That would be crazy. Monday, March 3rd at night, probably 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll iron that out. But the Avengers Assemble members only live stream for those who stay or Connor Stallions members. So those are our upcoming shows. Definitely get yourself. If you're not subscribed and you're not hitting the bell, you're going to want to do it because we'll have some content coming at you all this next couple of days.
Absolutely. Stay tuned.
For sure. And with that said, that's it for this episode, but definitely want to encourage everybody, as we always do, to hit us up on X at John Diadamo, at TJ_Ronin. Get our takes on not just football, but other things. TJ covers obviously more basketball than I do, but I'll start to comment a little bit more as we get to March Madness for sure. But definitely follow us on X. Any final thoughts for us, TJ, as we say goodbye?
Yeah. Yeah, just another great show, guys. Appreciate the community. Shout out to you guys for being a part of this with us. And I saw Burks made a comment. What's the plan for the spring game? Again, boys, as it gets closer, I assure you, we will keep you guys updated. We will definitely give you guys an update what the plans will be for Friday night, tailgate, post game, Saturday night, and the game itself. So we will keep you guys updated. I assure you that. Just allow the event to get a little bit closer, so we can get our plans established for you.
Absolutely. And everybody's saying go blue as we wrap up. Thank you all for doing that.
Go Blue, boys.
Definitely a go blue for everybody here. And we will see you on Thursday. One more reminder to consider leaving a rating or review if you listen to us on audio, because we release this show, we release the call-in show. We also release the point a minute on audio as well. We sound great on audio. Definitely do that when you're driving, when you're on your commute. Check us out on audio.
Definitely. It's really one of the next things for our channel, guys. If we can build our audio base, especially if we can get our loyal listeners to just give us a rating and review it, to show other listeners who have not listened to our show yet, to let them know that you guys enjoy the show. It means a lot to us. It also helps put us in the algorithm for other listeners to check out our show. It's one of the areas we're trying to strengthen in terms of our show's full 360 reach. So if you guys could do that for us, we'd greatly appreciate it.
There we go. All right, y'all. Yeah, 5-star reviews if you don't mind, and give us those ratings. We really appreciate that. Thank you all so much for being here. As always, whether you hit the like button, whether you subscribe, whether you became a member, super chat, or even just left a comment, left anything, or even you're just watching us. You're out there, you're watching us. I know people who watch us from the gym or whatever. It's all appreciated.
Yeah, it is.
All of it.
Yeah, and like to all of our guys, like night shift. I know, like we got some guys who do the night shift. They're like, oh, well, I'll hit the replay while I'm working. You guys help me go through. Listen, I am extremely appreciative that we can take an hour and a half of your guys' time, and you guys want to check us out. So it means a lot to us. I'm glad we can help you guys get through the week, get through the day, and do the damn thing. And as we go through the off season of Michigan football, we're here for you.
There we go. All right, everybody. Well, until next time, it's Go Blue, and we'll see you Thursday night for the call-in show.
Go Blue.